And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Trouble in Waterdeep. Trouble in Waterdeep is the newest box set of Dice Masters, and in this game, this is a two-player back-and-forth game. I've already reviewed Dice Masters many times. You can take a look at my original Marvel Dice Masters. You could mix this with Marvel Dice Masters, but this is a little bit different. It doesn't mix perfectly well, but it's been a while, I think, since they've done a Dungeons & Dragons set, and this one's set in one of their most popular campaign settings, so let's take a look at it. Well, there's a bunch of dice that are included with this game, obviously. I think the dragon die here, I like this look a lot. A couple of the dice, this one is a little hard to see. The purple die, this one is a really sharp looking die. So some of the dice look great, has definitely kind of a dark overtone to the set. The set also comes with orange, pink, dark green, and navy blue cards for your basic action dice. And it comes with the bags that no one ever uses, but they show cool pictures on them of stuff of the goings-on that happens in Waterdeep. All right, let's take a look at the cards. All right, so let's take a look at the basic action cards first. You can do damage to somebody, and if you take them out, you get to use the die again. That's okay. This one I like a lot. You can add Infiltrate to any character. This thing is fantastic. I like Infiltrate's one of my favorite abilities. You can also double someone's defense with the heavy armor. And a character dice engaged with the equipped character lose and can't gain Overcrush. It doesn't come into play very often, but it's a nice little extra thing. Heist, you can steal someone's die for a little bit. Shield, your characters can't be targeted by global stuff. It's okay. Wand, I like a lot, which gives you Spark. So Spark, whenever you draw a die, whenever you roll a die that gives you a single star or double star, makes your Spark stuff happen, and this does a damage to target opponent. So that's kind of a cool thing. Chainmail gives you +4 dice and can't be affected by opposing when fielded effects. Do 1 damage for each different energy type that you have in your pool. And then my favorite 2 basic action cards, the Eldritch Blast and Wild Magic. Eldritch Blast lets you draw a die from your bag and do damage to somebody equal to its purchase cost. Love that. And Wild Magic. Pick 2 of the other basic action cards that players brought this game, and you can use a copy of each of their effects. I like that a lot. That's pretty neat. It just adds extra stuff. So being able to be 2 different dice at the same time, of course you're depending on your opponent to bring one in, because you would bring in Wild Magic and one other one, but then the die that your opponent brings in, you can use that with this die. Oh, I love Wild Magic, one of my favorite cards in the game. Now, oddly enough, there are cards in this game that will let you use tokens. This game comes with 3 tokens. This is what I mean by oddly enough that you can use. This is a 10 by 10. You could use any token. It's kind of like Magic the Gathering in this regard, where you can use any token you want, but you can also use the official tokens. These tokens aren't even mentioned in the rulebook as part of the component list, and there's only 1 of each, but whatever. The God Catcher here, it's a trap. You put it out, and then if it's triggered, if your opponent attacks with 7 attack or more, or if you use an action die, then you suddenly have this giant 10 attack, 10 defense token. The Great Drunkard is not nearly as powerful, but it's a little easier. You take 3 or more damage, your opponent uses a global trigger, you get a 6/6. And then this character here, whose name I won't dare pronounce, when he's fielded, he gets a 1/1 Guardian token, but it's deadly, which means if you fight it, you're going to die. Here he gets a 1/1, and if he's KO'd, you can kill this token instead, or in this regard, it's a 2/2 token, which is on the other side here. So I like these ideas of using little token creatures and stuff. I wouldn't have minded if they had put a few more in the set. Now let's take a look at some of the heroes, which have experience. And experience can get you +1 attack, +1 defense, just like the regular Dungeons & Dragons game. Here, if you field someone else with experience, and this guy gets an experience token, he also has a tune, which means if you use an action die, you do 1 damage to target player or character die. Then we have a fisherman. I guess Fisherman Extraordinary. Now, I don't know the Waterdeep history as much, so I'm not sure why this guy, for example, is fast and does damage before the other person and prevents damage from blocking, but I guess he's a pretty tough character. We also have a Drow Mercenary, which has Obscure, which means when you use an action die, the character is unblockable. He also comes with Infiltrate, that ability that I like so very much. Or he can only be blocked by one other character. Then we have a Druid. If someone gains an experience, you can spin this character down a level to gain 2 life. I don't know how often I want to use that one, but it's interesting. You can spin him down a level to go 1. He's just like a heroic person. Spin him down a level, or remove an experience token to prep a die from your bag. I'm not a big fan of, hurting yourself to get good stuff, but if you like that sort of thing, that will work well. She can't be affected by opposing global abilities or action dice. That's kind of interesting. And she's the only one in this set that I know that has Overcrush, where if you do extra damage, it goes straight to your opponent. And then we have Calliope, who has Infiltrate, or you can swap Calliope and an NPC die and give that NPC die Overcrush. It is another way to get it in the game. And then your NPC dice are +1 attack and +1 defense. But now let's take a look at the cool monsters in this set. So first we have these fish things here, which have Swarm, which Swarm's an ability. If you have a Swarm guy out and you draw one with Swarm, you get to draw an extra one. And this guy has Obscure and Infiltrate. We got these Intellect Devourers, which have Spark. This one lets you spin an opponent's character down 1. Or anytime they spend a wild energy, do 1 damage to them. I like that one because it's always annoying when your opponent gets wild energy, right? Why not hit them? This guy has Infiltrate. Or when he's knocked out, you get to draw 2 dice. Or Deadly. I like all 3 of those. This is a pretty cheap character, so I think this one's fun. There's also the Gazer here. When they're KO'd, you can move a target die or draw 2 dice from your opponent's bag, put them in your use pile, make them miss their things. These are like little beholders. I like them. This one has Intimidate. Then we got the big things. A new dragon with a Breath Weapon 1 or Breath Weapon 2. This one's interesting. This Breath Weapon does 2 damage to everybody. And extra damage to adventurers. Can wipe out a whole pile of adventurers. Then we have this guy here who's really cool. Very expensive. But you can take control of someone with a lower level. Or control all opposing NPC character dice. Or name an energy type and remove all the energy of that type from your opponent's reserve pool. Don't be saving energy when I'm using this guy. And then there's this powerful... Wait, huh? I don't get this one. Again, this must be in the Waterdeep lore. But we have this little fish here in a small bowl. That's interesting, though. If he's KO'd, do 2 damage to target opponent. So you're going to try to get this fish killed. Or here, if he's KO'd, you can purchase a Xanathar character die for only 2 and immediately prep it. Or when he's KO'd, you may prep a Xanathar from your use pile. Who is Xanathar? Well, it's this gigantic beholder. What? Who's apparently a crime lord. And this thing's very powerful. This one has a Spark doing damage to an opponent. Use global ability for free, and they happily put one on there. Or my favorite, count the number of active character dice with experience your opponent controls, and you can remove experience tokens from the opponent. There's not much more to say at this point because I think the only people who are watching this video are people who already like Dice Masters and they just want to see what the new stuff is. This, though, is a set that I think you could introduce new people to. The only problem is the stuff like equipping your characters with swords and weapons and stuff. There's not a lot of that in this game, so I don't know that I would get this for someone who's new to this series. But it does add some cool stuff. Again, I think some of the stuff thematically wise would make more sense if you knew Waterdeep itself. Like, I don't know why a goldfish hurts your opponent or why it brings out a giant beholder. But it works in the game, right? It makes for a fun little combo that you can pull off. And I really like the basic action cards of this set. I think there's some neat stuff in here. Overall, it's pretty easy. There's not a lot of complex stuff in here. It kind of focuses on the new Spark ability. And then there's a lot of Infiltrate stuff going on. So it's a pretty cool set, and I like it. I'm Tom Vasel. Thanks for watching. Dice Tower Judgment approved!
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.